and also those people online. Thank you for coming to today's Istidamah, our monthly activities, which we hope to continue and use as a platforms to mainstream whatever concern that we have and the activities that we have. We choose this topic because from this month and next month, there will be series of activities on indigenous people, indigenous knowledge, which is called wisdom. So, which will culminate on the 14th of October, if not mistaken, where the Indigenous People Day, and we are proposing some big agenda as well, big activities in order to really embrace, celebrate the diversity that we have, and also gain as much as possible wisdoms and cultural diversity of the indigenous people. And from not only from sustainability perspective, but also from Rahmatan lil Alamin perspective and etc. We hope that we are putting all the stakeholders together in a platform so that we can discuss the way forward. So with that remarks, before we proceed to hear to the speakers' insights and experience, we'd like to have Prof. Akmal to give some wisdoms and insights on our bigger pictures of these indigenous people, wisdoms and culture. Sila, Prof.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My esteemed colleague, Prof. Zainal, our Deputy Director Research, Prof. Amir, and the rest of our colleagues who are joining us online. Alhamdulillah, as you can see that this is our Istidamah Colloquium number 47, number 47. Of course, this indicates the relentlessness of SCASH, headed by Prof. Zainal, in ensuring that the Istidamah Colloquium is sustainable and will be continuously organized to ensure that the topics that doesn't concern us directly in the realm of academic, actually, but rather something that we do outside of our cup of tea, teaching and researching, especially when we talk about community engagement. Of course, we can see that each of our Istidamah Colloquium, they try to paint a different picture of our activity as academics, as administrators, of which the university is trying to champion, that is the communiversity agenda. We are going to listen today to a few presentations, of which these presentations share something in common. That is to discuss about the activities pertaining to the indigenous peoples, what we have been doing, and to be exact, what our lecturers, professors, staff have been doing to engage the university with this particular group of people, the indigenous. Of course, there were milestones before. I mean, we're not talking about like our engagement with the indigenous people just recently had begun, but rather, if you look at the history of our student activism, some of our clubs have been doing these community works and services with the Orang Asli indigenous group as far as Gua Musang. I mean, even it is being traditionally done, and they have achieved a lot of things throughout the years, actually. And one thing that we can see that the impact of what our students have been doing is that they are not doing it just for the sake of doing the activities, but rather to ensure that it is sustainable. They keep on coming to ensure that the knowledge transfer will be continuously done. In fact, they have been very successful in alleviating the condition of those people by helping them out, telling them, teaching them how to do the correct things in planting and also agriculture, in fruits cultivation and whatnot. So they have been going for quite some times, but perhaps that today we're going to listen as well to some of our lecturers' involvement and also activities from perhaps another perspective, other aspects that they've been working with this group of people. So looking forward to hear their wisdom and sharing of thoughts and experience. Of course, this kind of thing is a learning curve for us as well. We are learning from our lecturers here. They shared the experience, and of course, in a way, indirectly, it is broadened our horizon as educators, that education is not only something which is confined to the four walls of classrooms, but rather something that need to be practiced and be applied outside, inshallah. So thank you very much. Again, congrats, Prof. Zainal and the team. Jazakumullah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Thank you, Prof. Akmal, for the big picture and also the pain on recalling all the activities that we've been through. We have been doing for past many years. We just hope that we become more mainstream. So let's start with the first. Saya ingat siapa dia. Okay, all right. Let's start with the first speaker, and we hope this will be a good start because we will start with Prof. Azlan to give a bit of like the academics and also the perspective on what's this activity. Still, Prof.
Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wassalatu wassalamu ala ashrafil anbiya wal mursalin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. First and foremost, I would like to thank Professor Dr. Zainal Abidin Hasanusi and Professor Dr. Ahmad Khuzari, Professor Amir, and all the members in this particular Senate Hall, and the committee members too for inviting me to share some of my experience with the Orang Asli community. And my title for this evening and for this program will be Orang Asli. Next, please. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Orang Asli Education and Empowerment. So by looking at the format of the presentation today should be keynote speech. But within the time given, 15 minutes, I think I can give keywords instead of keynote speaking. So 15 minutes will be just the keywords. I'm going to explain about who is Orang Asli and what do you mean by education and empowerment. Okay, next slide, please. And how to bring this community Orang Asli into the mainstream, because of the theme for this colloquium will be mainstreaming indigenous people's wisdom and culture. And all this while we have been looking at the community as a marginalized community, or in Malay, masyarakat pinggiran. It's not talking about the rural community. It's basically masyarakat pinggiran kampung, right? Far away from the civilization. And most of the time, they spend a lot of time in the forest. And overview for my presentation will be number one, will be recognizing identity. And we have three different terms: Malay, Orang Asli, and natives. And then the second point will be talking about education, how we go about improving the community itself. We have two initiatives to be brought in. And then the third point will be empowerment, the role of culture and the role of indigenous knowledge, or IK. And the conclusion for my presentation today, inshallah. Next slide, please. So what will be the source of reference when we talk about the Orang Asli in terms of identity? I think we can have all kinds of definitions or opinions, but I would rather prefer to rely on the Federal Constitution and also Aboriginal Peoples Act 1954. These two main sources that could help us to define who is Orang Asli, and we have something with the authority and reliable resources here. Okay, move on, next. So if you look at when you talk about recognizing identity, interestingly, when you talk about our Federal Constitution, it's a bit unique. We have a definition of who is Malay, Orang Melayu, and the Federal Constitution, Article 160, we have Malay means Islam, habitually speaks the Malay language and conforms to Malay adat. And these are the three ingredients for being a Malay. Okay, next slide, please. And then we have the definition of natives. Natives here mean Bumiputra or Pribumi for the Sabahans and Sarakians, and they have their own definition for natives. and we see that there's no orang asli in Sabah and Sarawak. We don't call it orang asli and orang asli in the case of Sabah. We call it pribumi or natives. And I won't go into the detail because our focus now today, this evening, will be on orang asli. Next slide, please. This will be our main focus here, Aborigine or orang asli, orang asal. And it's clearly stated in Article 160 subsection 2. And Aborigine means an Aborigine of the Malay Peninsula. So what you have in the Malay Peninsula of 18 tribes, these are the orang asli. And we don't call orang asli for Sabah, we don't call orang asli in Sarawak. Sarawak and Sabah, they have their own term, natives or pribumi. And then there's another document, Aboriginal Peoples Act 1954. It says that under Section 3, Subsection 1, and Subsection 2 and Subsection 3, if I can read the main points here, any person whose male parent and is or was a member of an Aboriginal ethnic group who speaks an Aboriginal language and habitually follows an Aboriginal way of life and Aboriginal customs and beliefs, and includes a descendant through males of such person. So that means here we talk about the concept of patriarchy, patrilineal concept here. That means the line of descent to be counted from the father's side. And then we also talk about any person of any race adopted. Adopted, you can adopt any child of different races. But if the person be brought up as an Aborigine, habitually speaks the Aboriginal language, follows an Aboriginal way of life, Aboriginal custom and belief, they can be considered as orang asli. Okay, even though you can orang asli adopt Malay children or Malay or any child of different races. That will be subsection 1, and then you have section 3, subsection 2, any Aborigine who by reason of conversion back to any religion. If somebody convert to religion Islam or any other religion, this does not mean that you become another ethnic group. That means there's no effect of the conversion. You still be orang asli as long as you speak the language, you follow the way of life of orang asli, and you subscribe to the Aboriginal customs and belief, you still remain as orang asli, even though you are Muslim or Christians or whatever, or enemies whatsoever. And then you have subsection 3 and section 3 decided by the minister. So the minister has the power to decide whether you're orang asli or not. Okay, so you see, from the legal point of view, it mentioned here just the word minister. It doesn't specify which minister. So it's an open floodgate. So as long as it's been decided by a minister on that particular moment of time, you can be classified as orang asli. So the main point here is being orang asli, you must be able to speak the language. You must be able to subscribe to the belief and customs of orang asli. At the same time, you are able to follow the way of life as being an Aborigine. Okay, next slide, please. And as mentioned just now, we talk about orang asli. We have 18 tribes throughout Malaysia, Malay Peninsula. So we have 18 tribes. We have, you see, we have 3 different colors here. The green represent the, I cannot see clearly here. The negritos, or the negritos will be the green in color. You have, and then small but negrito, equal to negrito, yeah. And then you have in orange, you got Sanoi. Okay, and then you have the third one, yellow in color, I think, will be the Proto Malay. Okay, next slide, please. And you have to go very quick because 15 minutes, right? Okay, yeah. These are the classifications of orang asli. We have 3 main groups: the Negritos, Semang Negritos, Sanoi, and Proto Malay. So you have Semang Negritos, you have the subgroup Batik, Jahai, Kensiu, Kintak, Lano, Mendrake. The Sanoi will be Chewong, Jahut, Mamari, Semai, and Semok Beri, Temia. And the Proto Malay will be Jakun, Orang Kanak, Kuala, Seratas, Semelai, Temok, and Temuan. So you have 80 tribes altogether, and well distributed throughout Malay Peninsula. We don't have orang asli in Penang, of course. We don't have. Right? We don't have orang asli in Penang. So you have, you can see here Johor, Pahang. Okay, in terms of distribution, next slide, please. Next slide. Okay, you have Negritos 2.8% on the whole. You have Senoi 54.9%. So Proto Malay is 42.3%. So majority of when you talk about orang asli will be under the category of Senoi. This is the Semai, and you can see the more advanced will be the Semai group compared, and the Chiwang group will be almost have a little number, and they are almost, they are stay most in the forest, and very little in number and small size. If we don't really go and study them, and then this group will extinct, disappear. All right, next slide. Chiwong, Chiwong. I don't know. Nothing to do with Chinese. And the second topic that I'm going to talk about will be education. One of the ways of which we can bring them to the mainstream is to educate them. This is the only way to do it because there is no other way. But we have to create some kind of initiatives to bring them to the mainstream. And one of the ways is through education. And we got two strategies. The first one, Department of Sociology and Anthropology, for the first time, we offer a course by itself, SOCA 2362. It's a new course, elective. It's open elective. Can you click the course online? And what is that? Yeah, we offer this course online. Can we keep bigger so that I can see from here? So we have practical base for students, this SOCA 2362. The title of the course is Aborigines and the Natives. So we cover, we make a comparative study. Okay, go down a bit to the content. Just go to the content, inshallah. Go down. Tumbah. Okay, tumbah. Go down. Nak tengok table je. Okay, learning outcome tak payah. Go down. Lagi bawah. Okay, lagi. Okay, so these are the things that I'm going to offer. So we have, go down again. So we have introduction to Aboriginal people and natives, group identity. Go down again. Go down, Islam. And we have talking about rights to land and territory. And surprisingly, orang asli, they don't have, like us, we have private ownership. So they will be given a land gazetted by the state, and they'll stay there for up to the state. There's no such thing private ownership. So it can be approved by the ESCOs of the state, and the state or government can at any time can confiscate. I use the word confiscate the land in the guise of development. So the orang asli have to go out from that land. So as of now, it's not like FERDA or FECRA scheme. So they just stay in that land for, it can be 100 years, but after that, off you go. If the state said you have to go, you have to go. To build, let's say, a dam, whatever, okay, and in the name of development. And then rights to education, and then fieldwork. So the students who register for this course, they have to do fieldwork in the Orang Asli settlement. Okay, next link, please. Next link. So we have course online for SOCA 2362, and I was given the right to the opportunity to deliver this course. Link yang kedua. Fieldwork. Ke fieldwork? Okay, fieldwork. Lambat kan? Ada lagging Ada internet glitch. Okay. Okay. This is one of the samples from the student. She went to the fieldwork to the Kampung Bo Orang Asli, and what we did was, at the end of the day, she has to prepare kind of a fieldwork experience. So in other words, we go for practical based approach, and at the same time we go for experiential learning. So you need to understand. Go down. You need to understand what do you mean by doing fieldwork, how to go about doing fieldwork, what are the methods to use, what will be the challenges, what will be the obstacles, what will be the hiccups they may encounter throughout the fieldwork. And they learned a lot from here. In other words, they have difficult time to interact with the orang asli, because because we use our own language, Malay language, but standard Malay language, they won't understand. So we have to go down to their language, very simple language. And the orang asli, sometimes they won't respond to you, and they just ignore you. So they learn a lot in terms of how to do fieldwork. And interestingly, I met one of the hitmen of the village, in Cameron Highlands. He got the experience as being a sniper. So he told me directly, he told, you came here to get data from us. So the students can finish the assignment. But we got nothing in written. So we were quite sarcastic. So I was a bit surprised. I just caught by surprise by the statement given by this Tok Bachin, the postmanson. You came here to collect data, your student can complete your assignment, but we got nothing in return. So I would advise my all kampung folks not to not to cooperate with you. And my students had a hard time to convince the people to cooperate with us. But we learned, and then from there I got a kind of an indicator how to go about in the next round. Okay, next link, the third one, some pictures to show just a bit of. This is quite recent when we went to last semester we went to the Cameron Highlands. So I managed to cover 6 kampung. This is okay, just a bit. Can you show a little bit? This is orang asli in kampung orang asli Layar in Cameron Highlands. Then this is kampung orang asli too. Okay, next. This is how we go about doing it. Next. Right. The blowpipe. Okay, we say preparing how to prepare ducts for the blowpipe. And this is myself and the Tok Batin. This Tok Batin is a Muslim. Okay, all right. Next. They have good time spending time and okay, we have these activities, drawing and competition. Okay, they love it. The orang students love it very much. This is our time to go. My group and okay, this is my involvement in the orang asli. I too need to use a very simple Malay language. Okay. And they will understand me. I'm a lecturer, whatever I say, just call me Cikgu, right? Okay, that's better. There was a time I first went into the Orang Asli settlement way back in 1986. And that was a time when I got malaria. When I went to the Kampung Orang Asli in 1986, I got malaria. And I got this falciparum and vivax, combination of the parasites. And I got 27 days treatment. And the Jakwa said to me, the Jakwa told me, you are now real Orang Asli. After being got malaria. Okay. Yeah. And then the main reason that we have to expose our students to the Orang Asli settlement because to understand the mindset of the Orang Asli, whether the governing principles for the Orang Asli. Okay, this is the primitive mind. Okay, next I go very quick because the time is too short now. And education empowerment. Okay, next I need to go very quick. I need to address more important issues. Next, go next. Okay, never mind. This is the concept of culture. And you see here, the most important thing is we are going to talk about tacit culture, or tacit, that means indigenous knowledge. Okay, go down. Go straight again. Next. Okay, and okay, can you link this My Fan School? So the next project that I intend to do here is My Fan Orang Asli School Model Education Empowerment. So My Fan means kalau dalam bahasa Melayu kita kata saya minat atau peminat, but actually it's an acronym for My Forest and Nature School. I just make it My Forest and Nature School, and 2 ways of doing it. Okay, My Fan Orang Asli. This will be my next project to be worked together for this coming semester, and to get some data. Okay, go down a bit. Turun. Okay, go down again. And just go to okay. This is the stop. This school works in 2 ways. Number one, Orang Asli can be recruited as an educator. So we're going to make use of their indigenous knowledge. They can be recruited as a teacher, and they can disseminate the knowledge to the Orang Asli children, so they can be part of the system. At the same time, the second way of doing it is the school will retain the existing academic curriculum designed by the Ministry of Education. So you have the two options. So we want them to be part of the system. So in other words, the IK or this knowledge can be appreciated. So you learn how. Okay, next. I go straight. Next slide. Next slide. Okay. Okay. This is what I have in mind, My Fan School project. We can build the module 1 on medicinal plants and herbal remedies and pharmaceutical issues. Module 2, we can talk about forest management and forest, my second home. We can incorporate the IK. Module 3, we can have cultural artifacts on to understand the artifacts and artifacts of Orang Asli. Module 4, we'll have the folklore. Module 5 will be on education, modern and traditional. This is to list down a few. And from these modules, we can create better for the My Friend School project, My Forest and Nature School. I just make it such a bit catchy here so that I love the school. So actually, we try to design modules and hoping that from these modules we can help the orang asli to be part of us. So we should appreciate the Tok Batin knowledge and they to deliver to their own children. Okay, I think conclusion, and I think I don't have to read. Time is too short now. Okay, thank you very much for the time given to me. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Prof. Lan. That's really good because now we see not only the bit of like concept and understanding, but also the my fan, maybe something that empat kelab orang asli ni can try to link. Sebab dia orang memang turun because it's a 2 days. Is it the 2-day thing? Yang my fan punya school?
Oh no, I mean my students went in around 3 days, 2 nights.
Okay. So
And we're going to set up somewhere in Cameron Highlands for a start, and then the students get in the modules, and we're going to develop the modules for that particular schools.
Maybe the module can be used for orang asli groups yang 4 clubs ni lah. Alright.
They can join us, can join me. No problem.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, thank you. Prof. Mal dengan Prof. Amir ada question? Yeah. Okay. Next will be interesting too. Orang yang merobotkan orang asli ni. I think is Yasir. Okay. Okay. Dr. Yasir has been doing all this STEM thing with and robotic with orang asli ni for many years and many times and many places already. It'll be exciting to hear from you.
Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. And a very good afternoon, everyone. Salam sejahtera. I'll be telling about our projects related to orang asli and pribumi in Malaysia. And we are actually from Makers IIM. And therefore the projects relates to technology, to STEM education, and focusing on the platform robotics. Okay, next. Boleh, next slide. All right. Okay. So the effort for to push for STEM for indigenous students in Malaysia, basically we have it in our blueprint, Malaysian Education Blueprint 2025. Which basically says that one of the agenda, one very important agenda of education is to introduce STEM to orang asli and pribumi. And also if we look at the SDGs, one specific target 4.5 mentioned specifically indigenous people to eliminate discrimination and basically to open up access to education for STEM. And there are many in literatures that shows how STEM can be a very useful tool for indigenous communities, which basically can help fostering their talents, fostering the community, and also at the same time fostering sustainable development. Next. Yang belakang, and that's basically carnival last year. That's carnival orang asli students coming from all over Malaysia. We have a carnival in Usim last year. Next. Okay, so in blueprint, one of the issue pointed out by the blueprint, which is a concern to Malaysia, is first is the percentage of orang asli students that complete schooling. Okay, and then I'm referring to the bottom right graph. The first one is percentage of completion of schools. Second one is the percentage of passing core subjects in UPSR. Okay, and the third one is the achievement in schools. So as we can see, the achievement of orang asli is relatively quite significantly less than normal students. So this is why it is a focus, something that is emphasized in our blueprint. Okay, so from this, basically, the idea is to try to eliminate or try to help solve this problem through STEM educations. Next. So from the literature, basically, the issue with education, mainly the STEM education, it's not that the orang asli or indigenous students are showing less interest. They are basically inherently similar with other students. They are very interested with technology, very interested with science and mathematics education. But there's some key factors that lead to why the achievement is less for orang asli. First one is, of course, the access and to resources and opportunity for education. We can see schools in rurals have less access to technology resources. Normally, they have to travel very far into the jungle to have a good building of schools, but you have problem with internet connectivity and etc. inside. Okay, and then second one is lack of representation and role models. Okay, that there's not much or not many among the orang asli community or pribumi or focus community that can become the role models for the community. So because of that, we cannot see or orang asli community cannot see who they should become or who should they follow. Okay, and very difficult for them to envision themselves in STEM careers, etc. Okay, the next point is perceived irrelevance to STEM subject. Because of the way they live, okay, normally not using technology that much. Okay, they have this perceived irrelevance to STEM. They think STEM is not that important to their life. And then next is lack of culturally responsive pedagogy. Our curriculum or syllabus at schools are very fixed, so it's quite challenging for the orang asli, for the pribumi to follow. Next is this connection to ancestral knowledge, and finally cultural bias in the content. So the last bottom three is basically relate to how the education system is, the syllabus, etc. But the earlier part is basically what we try to solve. But anyway, next slide. The suggestion from the literature, what I can summarize is first to promote or to enhance our education, especially for the indigenous, especially in STEM education. We need a more culturally responsive pedagogy. Our school system, we have syllabus, the curriculum, which is quite difficult to change, but we also have this other component, which is a core curriculum. And nowadays, STEM as co-curriculum activities are very, very popular in Malaysia. BSKK of KPM are promoting STEM quite extensively, intensively. So it reached to many students, but unfortunately to orang asli schools, not much. So we could actually try to bring a more culturally responsive pedagogy through these co-curricular activities. Next is bridging cultural disconnects by when we approach the orang asli, we basically we tackle together the community. Either we get the teachers who are close to the students, or we get parents who are close to the students. Next is building positive relationships. And finally, we go with whole school approach. Basically, getting the schools itself themselves to do something about the education or the STEM education of the students. I'll show you what we did next. Okay, so we propose STEM as a tool to promote or to enhance education of orang asli. STEM educations basically can easily be tuned to make them relevant to the traditional knowledge and practices of orang asli. And then the indigenous community, basically they are very connected to the nature, and STEM can basically be used to empower them with knowledge and technology to make them closer to the nature. And there's other reason why we use them as tool. I'll move to the next slide, maybe too long this. Okay, so what we did in 2002, we piloted a project to conduct a national level STEM program for orang asli schools. So we collaborated with Unit Pengurusan Pendidikan Orang Asli and Model Khas under BPSH KPM. Okay, basically this unit look after all the orang asli schools, or they call it majority, orang asli majority, in Semenanjung, and also several schools, majority Penan, and in Sabah, majority Dusun Bonggi, which have special focus of this unit. So we collaborated and we piloted a project. So you can see bottom right picture with when the time Razijidin was the YB Razijidin was the minister. So that's our first program where he gave present to the winner. And then the next photo is basically program last year, 2023, where we conducted the national level robotics at the carnival, the picture that I showed you earlier. Yeah, and through the 2 years program, we did some survey, very a brief survey to see how whether there's impact of the program, what's the impact of the program, and from our survey, 95% of the students basically says through the program, their interest in STEM and their interest to come to school even increased. Okay, and the collaboration with KPM continues, and this year we conducted an even bigger program with a new collaborators, PetroScience. Next. So this year we conducted a similar program, a national level program, but we have a bigger sponsor and collaborator, the PetroScience Petronas. Yeah, and with this we have a better planned program. This year the program started in May. We conducted robotic workshops and competitions at 6 zones in Malaysia, involving 9 states, from May to July. And then next week, there will be a carnival under the KPM, where we brought all the winners from the 6 zones to compete in the Carnival Pendidikan Orang Asli Pribumi. And following that, the students from the carnival, all the good projects from the carnival will go to Architects Challenge under PetroScience in October. And finally, the plan is with KPM, we plan to bring the best team from Indigenous or Pribumi, Orang Asli or Pribumi, to represent Malaysia in Korea, Busan. So this creates a pathway, a very interesting platform for the Orang Asli, where they can learn STEM at the same time get something, get a rewarded for that. If they do really well, then they can actually go to international competitions. So the program targets 600 students, representative from all schools under the BPSH KPM, which is 100 schools from 9 states. Next slide. And this is the learning pathway, where phase 1 is discovery and learning, phase 2 applying and mastering, where they build their own projects relevant to their cultures, and phase 3 is to sustain the projects afterwards by bringing them international, creating an idol among orang asli so that they can become example to other orang asli. Okay, but more importantly, this discovery and learning part, where we find out that orang asli are quite the access to technology, access to mobile phone technology, where we can see a lot of orang asli are now holding mobile phone, even the kids. So we think it's very, very important. That's why we integrate into the program as well the digital literacy module, where we teach them on how to responsibly use these gadgets. Because you can see them on TikTok, on Instagram, everyone is using. So it's quite a concern. Huh? How many percent do you have? If the school allow them to bring, they will bring. So I think they have quite an easy access to the mobile phone, and the internet connection with Starlink now, it's very easy, even in rural. So yeah, this is a concern. So we pushed in this module where we introduced digital literacy, digital discipline modules to the students that we reached out to. Okay, next. You have to go fast. This is the zones that we go to. Actually, we go to Go Musang, from Musang up to Pulau Bangi. Pulau Bangi is where you have Dusun Bongi students, and also into the very deep area in Sarawak, in the jungle, the Long Badian. So this is quite an interesting experience. We learn a lot from the orang asli and pribumi, and at the same time we are teaching them something as well. So it's a what's good about this program is that PetroScience takes our engineering and ICT student as their volunteers. So the student become in their CV they have this volunteer for PetroScience as their work experience, and get to travel. Yeah, so we're bringing students all over Malaysia to learn from orang asli and at the same time teach them. So next, this is the kits that we gave to the school, sponsored by PetroScience. So they're taught with programming, taught with electronics and robot buildings. Next, and this is the pictures from the 6 zones that we have reached out to. Next. And of course, the project is national scale. There's this coverage in news. The one next week will be an even bigger program, which is the national level carnival. Next. And what happened is next week, the winners from all the zones, they have to actually come out with a digital solution, a project where they build like robotic solutions or electronics circuit or whatever, the system, whatever they want to build to solve what we have given as a theme for the competition, which is to preserve their culture and to improve their lives. Where we hope to see next week a lot of very unique projects catering to the uniqueness of the culture of Indigenous, and also probably touches their problems. This example project is our project with EDS, with SMK Pangujaya, where they come to UAE and presented this project. They built like water filter because they have issue with water, and they also built like an automated lamp system for their roads. So this is one project that the student come out with once they learn about technology. Next. And from our engagement, the 6 zone engagement, the feedback is also very positive, and basically affirm our resolve that STEM can basically bring a lot of benefits to orang asli or Indigenous students. Next. And this is these are all the ethnic that we have touched: Bajau, a lot of Semai and Temia, Jakun, Dusun Bungi. And that's their confidence in STEM and math is very low, quite low actually. Some are very good, very confident. But overall, when the program finish, next. Yeah, the impact, we can see that mostly gives positive response to the program, including the teachers. Next. And these are our other projects. I think I have to stop, too long already. We have project with ADS, basically under ADS Seeds grant, we conducted program with SMK Pangujaya, where we go to the school, teach them, and ask the school to set up a robotic clubs. Because they don't have a club, so we guide the school to set up these clubs. And what happened is once they have a member, we ask them to join competition, robotic competition. So they join one in IIUM, the one bottom left. Okay, and then that one they didn't win anything, but then they go to another competition, which is Malaysia Tech Olympic, and they won something. They won gold for like drone categories. So this is an achievement for the students, for the schools, and basically promoted STEM really promote STEM to the schools. Now we have more members at SMK Pangujaya. And we also conducted a lot of project related to Indigenous students through our UIA platform, Usra in Action. And we also have other STEM program like reaching out to SK Punan with the Sejahtera Clinic and etc. Okay, lastly, as a conclusion, next. Okay, so we at Makers, we are from Makers IIUM. We believe that STEM has the power to unlock potentials among our Indigenous. Okay, and Indigenous students, from what we have witnessed, okay, we can see they are very interested with STEM. They are very interested with technology. That's a fact. It's just like any other students, but the access, because of the access, they would need a special platform. So Makers are trying to push for this special platform. We are working very close with KPM to hopefully can do this program again next year and next year, because the students are very eager. They want to join and join more and more competitions, workshops related to STEM. And yeah, I believe STEM is basically really relevant to, it's a good pedagogy for the Indigenous. And yeah, I believe that they can empower the communities to help them tackle their challenges and improve their education. Okay, with that, I thank you. Assalamualaikum.
Thank you, Dr. Raisi. Ada universiti lain buat macam kita ke? Tak ada, eh? Okay, fine. I just want to know that one. Model meeting tadi. Okay. All right. Thank you. Maybe let's finish the presentation first, and then we get to the question and answer. Dr. Nabila, silakan.
Assalamualaikum. Hold on. Let me share my screen. Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Imagine growing up in a world where your language, your stories, and your identity are slowly fading away. This was the challenge faced by the Orang Asli children I worked with. But through a literacy program, we discovered an incredible opportunity. An opportunity not just to teach these children to read, but to empower them to reclaim and preserve their cultural heritage. Assalamualaikum and a very good evening. Today, I'm excited to share how this program became a powerful tool for ensuring that the Orang Asli unique traditions and stories remain a vital part of our national identity. I want to start by sharing a bit about how this journey began. I was initially drawn to the community of the Kampung Orang Asli Bukit Panjang, Bukit Kepung, Johor, driven by a simple idea to teach the Orang Asli children how to read and write. When I first visited the village, I was struck by their rich cultural heritage and how their unique traditions were being passed down to the younger generation. But what I discovered was something far deeper. Literacy wasn't just about letters and words. It was about giving these children the tools to preserve their culture, their stories, and their identity. So this presentation is a reflection of what I have learned through our work with them and how literacy became the key to bridging that gap. So before we dive into the literacy program, it's important to understand who the Orang Asli are. They are the indigenous people of Malaysia, with a rich cultural heritage that has been passed down through generations. Their connection to the land, their traditions, and their way of life are deeply molded from using the blowpipe or sumpit to weaving, traditional games, and their own folklore stories. However, without the ability to document their stories, much of this heritage risks being lost in the modern world. This is where our literacy project became crucial, not just not just as an educational initiative, but as a lifeline for the younger generation to formally learn how to preserve their cultural identity. The literacy program wasn't something I designed alone. It was a collaborative effort from the start. We brought together student volunteers, staff volunteers, community, teachers, and even the children themselves to understand their needs and how we could help. Given the limited access to technology in the village, we had to rely on our creativity to design the literacy activities. Together, we crafted lessons that were deeply connected to the natural environment around them. One key decision was to incorporate their oral stories, many of which involved elements of the nature. By doing this, the program wasn't just about teaching them to read and write. It was about capturing and preserving their heritage. The student volunteers played a crucial role in this process, helping to create activities that made the most of the resources available. So we use leaves, stones, and other natural elements as part of our teaching tools, transforming the lack of technology into an opportunity to make learning more tangible and relevant. This approach not only engaged the children, but also reinforced the connection between their education and their cultural and natural environment. As we began to teach the children to read, we quickly realized that literacy was more than just a skill. It was a powerful cultural tool. By incorporating the stories of their ancestors into literacy activities, we gave the children a way to document and preserve their heritage. So we hope that these stories, which was once shared only through words of mouth, could be written down, read, and passed on to future generations. One of the most inspiring aspects of this project was witnessing the Orang Asli children's empowerment through the integration of art and craft into literacy learning. As they learned to read and write, they began to appreciate the richness of their cultural heritage. The children started to creatively document the stories shared by their families using art to illustrate and enhance their narratives. Through the fusion of literacy and artistic expression, these children were not only securing their future, but also safeguarding the legacy of their culture. The success of this literacy project made us think about the bigger picture, how we, as Malaysians, can integrate the wisdom of the Orang Asli and other indigenous communities in our broader national heritage. By documenting their stories and traditions through literacy, we have actually taken the first step. Now it's about ensuring that these stories are not just preserved, but celebrated as part of our shared identity. So this is a call to action for all of us to recognize the value of indigenous wisdoms and to integrate it into our education systems, our cultural narratives, and our national pride. We can create a richer, more inclusive understanding of what it means to be Malaysian. A key takeaway for me was the importance of working closely with the community. This wasn't just an outside initiative, it was a partnership. This wasn't just about delivering a program, it was about co-creating something that was meaningful to them. By learning together, the community's involvement ensured that the program was not only culturally relevant, but also sustainable. So this collaboration ensured that the program wasn't just about teaching literacy, but about learning and preserving culture together. Of course, this journey wasn't without its challenges. We faced significant issues such as the remote location of the village, securing funds to support the program, and coordinating with the community to find dates that were suitable for everyone involved. Additionally, language barriers and cultural differences sometimes made it difficult to gain the full trust of the community. And there were moments of resistance from those who were unsure of our intentions. However, each challenge also presented an opportunity to learn and grow. For example, the hurdles push us to be more creative and resourceful, ensuring that every visit and every resource was maximized for impact. So to give you a deeper understanding of the work we have been doing with the Orang Asli community, I would like to share a short video with you. So as you watch, I hope you'll get a sense of the connection we have built with the community and the significance of this project for their future. So let us take a look. So this is as we get this program. So we have distributed the food baskets to the Orang Asli community here.
Presenting Practice Genius from
Asli Get Lit!
We are here in kindergarten. This is the book that we recently just made for them.
Okay, Assalamualaikum. Saya Cikgu Fadila daripada Tabika Kemas Orang Asli Bukit Panjang. Saya ucapkan terima kasihlah kepada semua pelajar-pelajar daripada IIM Pangku.
Today we just finished our last process of Asli Get Lit, and overall it was an exciting experience, and hope the kids can utilize the book.
Terima kasih Asli Get Lit.
Terima kasih Asli Get Lit. Terima kasih kepada ikhlas.com. So, looking back on this journey, I realized that teaching literacy was only part of the story. What we were really doing was helping to preserve the cultural identity of the Orang Asli for a better tomorrow. Literacy became a tool for empowerment, cultural preservation, and national integration. As we move forward, I hope this project serves as an example of how education can be a powerful force in safeguarding our diverse heritage. Together, we can ensure that the wisdom of the Orang Asli and all indigenous peoples remains a cherished part of our national identity. As we come to the end of this journey, I want to leave you with a thought. Literacy is more than just a skill. It's a bridge between generations, between cultures, and between the past and the future. The quote on this slide perfectly captures the heart of our mission. Embracing the wisdom and culture of indigenous peoples through literacy enriches our national heritage and broadens our collective understanding. When we invest in literacy for these communities, we are not just teaching children to read. We are ensuring that their stories, their wisdom, and their unique perspectives become a cherished part of our national narrative. We are enriching our collective understanding, making our nation stronger and more inclusive. Let us continue to support and embrace the literacy of all our people. By doing so, we enrich not just our knowledge, but our collective future. As we move forward, let's commit to learning, respecting, and honoring this wisdom, ensuring that all voices are valued in our journey together, one story at a time. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Nabila. Thank you so much. Insaf sekejap saya macam dengar documentary. It's really a lot of, touching points, and we see many things that need to be done still. Yeah. Okay, let's keep that first. let's continue to hear from our partner, ROCE partner from Pusat Pedagogi Kebangsaan ini, Dr. Hisham, if you're around.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Yeah,
Can you hear
silakan.
me?
Yes. Okay, proceed.
Okay, because I'm having problem with the laptop just now, so I'm using the old one. But unfortunately, the laptop doesn't have any camera, so I think we can just make do with this. So, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and a very good evening to all of you. Today, I would like to share the initiative or the actions that we have done, and in fact, we are still doing, based on our experience of conducting and also establishing this PKPPK or the Pusat Kecemerlangan Pedagogi Peribumi Kebangsaan. So I think I just stick to PKPPK rather than the National Center of Excellence for the Indigenous Pedagogy. So it's a bit easier for me to mention PKPPK in my slides then. Next then. Next. All right, this will be my overview, the things that I would like to share with all of us. First, I would like to talk about a little bit of PKPPK itself, just a brief introduction to PKPPK. And then I would like to share the initiative that we have conducted, we have done, and in fact still doing. And then after that, I would like to just go in briefly into indigenous pedagogy. And then after that, I'll try to talk about the pedagogy and nachagogy. There's a new pedagogy that we have developed and also established now. Then perhaps later on, we can have a Q&A session. Next, please. I think we just skip this slide straight away to PKPPK straight away. Another one. Thank you very much. This is the one. Okay, PKPPK, we established this center in 2009, and then it is actually mostly related to the Indigenous Act or the Orang Asli Act in 1954, whereby this act mentioned that all the
Tu sebelah. Hisham? I think disconnect sekejap. Slide je ada. Brodin boleh present. Mi, while waiting for that, Dr. Nabila, okay.
Yes, Prof.
What's next plan? What's the continuity for the Asli Get Lit? I mean, sorry, before that, tadi dia kata yang buku yang Practice Genius tu, is that our own book?
But yeah, the students invented the book for the
Wow.
children. But we are revising it to improve it. Okay, because I think it needs improvement. Because I think that is just the first stage. Our next stage would be collecting stories.
Kalau boleh orang lain nak present
Okay,
dulu,
thank you.
Saya-
Okay, boleh
okay,
continue.
it's on.
Hisham, sila sambung.
Hello again.
Alright, continue.
Hello again.
Yes, continue. We can hear you
Can
now.
you hear me?
Yes. Silakan.
Hello.
Terus. Shall we?
Hello.
Yes, silakan. Kami dengar, Hisham. Silakan. Mungkin dekat lepih tak dengar. Yeah. Message kat dalam chat box tu.
Hello.
Yes. We can hear you, but maybe you cannot hear us. ataupun you just pause it talking, we can hear you. Tulis kat message dia tu, minta diteruskan cakap. Okay, Dr. Nabila sambung. Jadi sekarang ni the book is our own, I mean the students produce the book, yeah?
Yes, the students produce the book.
Oh, okay, good. And publication, nak terbitkan buku tu kita kos sendiri lah.
The other day we make a copy. Belum, we haven't actually register the book. It's just to complete for our Usra in Action. So now we are revising it actually.
Okay, copyrighted.
Agaklah Proami nak tanya soalan tu dia. Maka.
Is it copyrighted? Yes.
We haven't, no, the student invented it. We haven't copyrighted it yet.
Okay.
Okay,
please do. RM50 je.
Okay.
Maka banyak oh.
Inshallah.
Yes, dah. Okay, Syam, dah okay?
Okay.
Alright, sila.
Sorry for that technical problem. Alright, I continue. This is actually the PKPPK, the brief background of PKPPK. So talking about the Orang Asli Act, whereby the Orang Asli must be allowed to be in any school that they want. So based on that background and also the platform, so we try to establish PKPPK. And at the same time, we need to ensure that the equal rights of these Orang Asli to receive education will be fulfilled. Next slide, please. Okay, carry on, Tana. So these are the initiatives that been done by PKPPK. Next slide, please. So we involved in pre-service teachers and also in-service teachers, and then Indigenous community. And at the same time, we also take part in activities beyond the curriculum. So we try to look into the first one, which is the pre-service teachers. Next, please. Okay, this is actually the number of students that we have trained. Actually, these are the Orang Asli students or the Indigenous students all over the Peninsula Malaysia. And they enroll in a special intake program, the BEd program, the PISMP or the BEd program. And then we started as early as 2010. And then up until now, 2023, we have trained 2,078 students. And from that number, 138 of students still undergoing their training here in IPG KTAA. And 140 of them has become teachers, and then they are placed in Orang Asli primary schools. It's about 98 schools altogether in all over Peninsula Malaysia. So at the moment, we are very proud to see that these teachers, these Orang teachers, they have proven that they have managed to in a way show to us that they are willing to develop their own ethnic groups. At the same time, they are willing to help the schools in developing the education of the Orang Asli. So next, please. For preschool teachers, teachers as well, pre-service teachers, sorry, we also involved in sharing of techniques, and so the pre-implementation of the approaches and also the teaching techniques that we have again. This is actually when we have this teacher training education, and also when we have this practicum. We allow the students to be in the Orang Asli schools so that they can try out the new techniques and also approaches in teaching the students. All right, and at the same time, we also involved in motivational slots or motivational programs for the Orang Asli students in Orang Asli schools. All right, next, please. So apart from that, we also involved in the courses and also the workshops for the in-service teachers. So especially the new teachers, and these teachers, when they are being posted or they're placed in Orang Asli school, they need to be trained in terms of the indigenous background and also indigenous ways to teach them, a way to teach the indigenous students. So this is our part whereby we play our roles in teaching them, all right, the correct ways or the suggested ways in order to teach this Orang Asli. All right. At the same time, we are also providing pedagogy course for the teachers in Orang Asli schools. For example, we have trained teachers in PPD or JPN, or the state education teachers, yeah. And then at the same time, we also train the JAKIM, right, the officers for the Indigenous agency in Malaysia. All right, next, please. And in terms of the Indigenous community, we work in the community program. For example, like we organize program entitled the Jalinan Mesra and also Masih Ada Yang Sayang. In this program, we not only focus on the students, or on students, I mean, but also at the same time, we focus on developing and also motivating the parents in order for them to be able to know the importance of education for the student, for their children. At the same time, we also involved in the career path or the induction course for the youth, the Orang Asli youth. We try to explain to them and the importance of education, and at the same time, we give them chances on how to become teachers in schools. So these are the things that we have done since 2010 up until now. And at the same time, we also appreciate and also preserve their nature, the nature. For example, like we try to get as much as folk tales, the stories, right, and the arts and so the craft, and then we have it all in our indigenous gallery. And for the folk tale itself, we try to publish them in terms of a book, all right, and then at the same time, when we can use that in the teaching later on. Right. I think maybe I can talk about that later when I talk about the indigenous pedagogy. All right, so continue, please. Beyond curriculums, these some of the things that we have done. For example, like, the researchers that involving the indigenous education. So we were very lucky enough because we had these 3 sites where we have Betau, Koyan, and also Lanai. So these 3 sites for the Orang Asli. So we can use the information from that 3 places in order for us to gain as much information on Orang Asli as possible. Right, and at the same time, we have a collaboration with synergy partners. For example, like with Sejahtera Center, UIM, definitely, and then all the universities and also the NGOs, for example, like Ideas, Rhythm, and also LeapEdge. Then after that, we also become the source of reference for the students, or actually the masters and also the PhD graduates, in order for them to continue or pursue their studies in terms of or in the field of Orang Asli education. At the same time, when we have done everything, so we try to publish the journals and so the modules with the limitation of the finance that we are having at the moment. I think everybody knows about this thing, and then we try as much as possible in order to publish the one that we have gathered. Yeah. So thank you. Can we go to indigenous pedagogy then? Just a little bit of indigenous pedagogy. Continue. So these are the main facts of some of the what we call this our platform in order to develop a new pedagogy, the indigenous pedagogy. So these are the secularists, right? The persons who are involved in the indigenous pedagogy. Yeah. So next, please. Continue. Continue, please. All right. We have managed to come up with a module. We call it as the nature gogi module. Right, and these are this is actually the concept or the conceptual framework for our module. All right, so we try to integrate elements of nature, and then also we know the principles and also the concept of nature gogi, the pedagogy for the indigenous pedagogy, and then at the same time we try to relate them with curriculum. So when we combine all of these elements, then we come up with our own module. All right, next, please. Continue. I think this is actually the development of our module. We started actually as early as 2010, based on our excellent research. So from the findings of this research, we continue with coming up with all different modules, including this Master Rainbow module or Forest Friendly module in 2020. And then after that, we have developed a new one, which actually we call it as Pedagogy Nature Gogi module. Okay, so continue, please. So before we even try out this module, so we came out with need analysis finding. So you can see that 96% of the students, or this is actually taken from the teachers from SMOA or the Orang Asli primary schools. So 96% of them, they really need guidance and also supervision in terms of implementing the module. All right, and then they really want a kind of a module so that they can use it in their classroom. All right, and then they need to have a collaboration between the indigenous students in their teaching and learning process. So continue then. All right, so we come up with the concept of this nature gogi. So actually it's taken from the concept of forest school, so which is actually introduced, which was introduced in Sweden and also Denmark in early 1950s. All right, and we bring in the elements of environment into the classroom. All right, and then at the same time we try to implement it in the school, even though we had a lot of challenges, right? And then we try to come up with all the good solution in terms of implementing the module. Right, next, please. These are the elements that we have found out, and we use this element in our module. All right, so we have flora and fauna, we have music, realia, adapted material, and then culture, and also arts and heritage. So what I can say about this nature gogi, the element is, for example, like flora and fauna. We use the flora and also fauna in the teaching of our students. All right, and we use also music. All right, that music is actually taken from music from the locals, the Orang Aslis. All right, we use also the Sewang music in order to use it as a teaching aid for the students. Yeah. Okay, and then realia, we use the real thing. All right, and for example, like we use pebbles, marbles, and so on and so forth in teaching of the students. Then if you don't have that, then we can use adapted material, for example, like toys and also other things that can be replaced. Yeah, can replace the realia. And then we also focus on the culture, arts, and also heritage. All right, so next, please. So these are some of the examples of the elements that we used in our nature gogi module. All right. Before I forget, this module that we developed is meant for year 1 students first in indigenous primary schools. So we use this element, for example, like the leaves, the flowers, right, fruits, vegetable, leaf, branches, pebbles, marbles, bamboo. These elements that can be taken or can be found at the surrounding area, so that can be used in their teaching and the teaching of these RRC students. All right, next slide, please. So other elements that that have used, the toys, all right, and then modeling clay, all right, and then we also use their culture, for example, the weddings, all right, the process of the wedding itself in the teaching of the RRC students. So we bring in all these materials in the teaching of other students. So the student will find that they're really familiar with all this material so that they can be able to understand what the teachers are teaching, right, in the classroom. So the teacher can use all of this material as their teaching aids, right, in teaching of the students. Okay, next, please. Okay, so we have actually tried out this module, and at the same time we have facilitated the teachers in SMOA or the Orang Asli schools in using this pedagogy module. All right, so we hope that it could be implemented with other schools as well, not only in Orang Asli schools, but also in the normal or primary school. And we are also aiming to try it out in secondary school as well. All right, so we hope that we will receive good support from MOE definitely, and also other agencies as well. All right, and then at the same time, we are looking for efforts, all right, and also contributions, and also but we can share the experience and also the expertise from the others as well. So I think next slide, please. So this will be the things that we have done, that we have conducted, all right, all these years. All right, continue, please. Okay, these are some of the pictures, all right. Then these are the module, all right. The module is meant for the Orang Asli students, all right, and you can see that those are the folk tales, yeah, the cita-cita rakyat, the folk tales, and also the Permata Serak or Antara Cerpen. These are all the poems, all right, and also the short stories that we take from from students, all right, we share from our students, and then we compile it into books, all right, then we can use it together with the module. So we are hoping that we can further use this in other schools as well. So I think next, please. That will be things that we have done, all right, with all the discussions, all right, and then the webinar, seminar, and so on and so forth. All right, so I think I would like to rest my case right here. So thank you very much for listening. Sorry for the technical glitch. All right, I hope that I can see all of you again. So thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you so much, Dr. Hisham. That's really interesting. And I think we can see clearly that if only we can put all these things together, from the stamp, from the get lead and all this, it is there, meaning that we can do wonders with the Orang Asli community. But let's see how the students are taking all these things. Because they've been going quite regularly to Orang Asli and see how's the experience like. Sila Faris.
Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and very good morning, everyone. So, first of all, I would like to thank you for giving me an opportunity today to give some sharing about insight and experience from Kampung Orang Asli, the villages where the indigenous people of the Malaysia, the Orang Asli there. So, first of all, like we know, there are actually around estimate 4 clubs in the UIA that are really focusing on Orang Asli, which are Comrade, Jasa, Perkim, and also TZ. So this club already has their own focus. So like Comrade, which we are focusing on dakwah, and for Jasa, they are focusing on infrastructure. And THC, they are focusing on education, and also for Perkim, they are focusing on dakwah. But right now, Perkim is more focusing on the street people, like in I don't really remember it, but they are don't really focusing on ORC right now. So so today I will give you some experience about ORC where I've been entering, such as we are covering three states, which are Kelantan, Pahang, and also Perak. So, comrade, we are not only doing the outreach, but we are also doing the mentoring program. So for mentoring program, we just enter the SMK Panggujaya, which is Dr. Yasir also going there for robotic. We also want to enter with robotic first, but because it's our first time doing the program there, so the teachers there uh request us for doing some English verse or English module. So they are right now request us for if we are coming again, we are gonna do some robotic. So maybe we can have some collaboration in the future. Yeah. So for the next week, upcoming week, we are gonna have another program in SMK Ulukinta, which is at Perak. So the teachers there request us for make module about the Merdeka because it is Merdeka month, and they request us for doing that module there. And also we are focusing on about how to make them not shy, because like we know, orang asli is very very shy. Right? In Malay we can say they are jago kampung. So if they are compete with orang asli themselves, they are very very competitive. But if they are compete in another level, such as state level, where there are more Malay people, they will become lost their energy and like to surrenderly. So the teachers there for tell us to make a module that can make them become more courage in the Malay people and also another people. So for the outreach program, which we are just back from the program at Rual, which are at Kelantan. So at Kelantan, it's about 2 years already we don't enter that village. So the program name is Reach and Reconnect, because we already take a long time not entering the program, not entering the village. The first reason that because last year we don't enter it because it's collect with the final exam. So we don't have the approval to go in there because it's exam week. So this year we enter it and Alhamdulillah we got very very welcoming from them. And also the program that we make in the village which are more focusing on dakwah lah. And there are some bureaus that we made, such as DNI, module, and welfare. So like Dr. Azlan said just now, the village don't like to participate if they don't have the like give and take. Like if you come to us to get the data, but we don't get anything in return. So that's why we provide some ration, like just some hygiene kit, food, and also some t-shirts. But they are really really like that. They are really like that thing. So we also have some slot where the student will go to into their house and just borak santai with them for around 2 hours. And after that slot, we're gonna have another slot which is like for DNI, dakwah and Islamization, which is we are covering about how to recite Al-Fatihah. They are Islam, but they are not really deep into the Islam. So we teach them about the basic of the Islamic first, such as how to pray and how to recite the Al-Fatihah, Trikul, and something like that. So after the slot, we also have another slot, which is the sport day, which is very, very, very liked by the people there, because the people of Orang Asli very like to play, and also they really like to sing along with us. Yeah, karaoke. So not only that, we also focusing on hygiene, which I think all of the program that we are doing really focus on hygiene, because like in previous program, which is at Lebih, PPA program Peduli Asli. I asked the kid there, the student there, the orang asli kid to wash their teeth, but they don't know how to wash their teeth. So I teach them first. I told, Dek, gosok gigi macam biasa. And then he tell, okay bang. Lepas tu, masa dia nak gosok gigi, dia kan minta air untuk komo. Tapi masa nak komo tu, saya dah bagi air. Tapi air dah habis. Lepas tu saya tanya, mana air tu dek? Air tu saya dah telan abang. Lepas tu then we got the kids and the student to wash their teeth again and again as until they finish that day lah. And then the teacher at PPA also like really like us, because the attendance of the student before we come in there are just around 60%, but after we come to the village and do the programs, the attendance of the student like rising to 90%, but just for around 2 weeks. And then it dropped again because we not there. So I also prepare some video of our previous program, so we can watch that together.
Jika hari ini yang terakhir, izinkanku mendengar suaramu lagi. Jika hari ini ku menghembuskan nafas terakhir, pedulikah kamu? Teriaklah sekuat manapun aku, suara ini tiada mendengar. Teriaklah, berhentilah berharap, teruskan hidupmu.
Ni Hasan.
Ku ingin pulang. Tiada daya dan upaya untuk membuatmu senyum, seakan akan tidur. Yang kusangkakan hanyalah mimpi tidak terperi. Genggam merah tanganku, teriaklah sekuat manapun aku,
there's also one thing that I want to add, that orang asli is very welcoming us to go to their village, and also they really like if we try to engage them with their words, such as we will call their mak as Amek, and also their father as Apa. And then and I also I always tell my committee, if we want to enter the program, we just wear the clothes that like normal, because we want to make us as similar as that people there. And also don't try to talk in English and also something like that, because it will make them as they will more shy, and like we like apa panggil cakap inferior to them. I think that's all from me. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much to all the speakers. We still have 15 minutes, yeah. I would suggest if Prof. Amir would like to start anything first. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much, Prof. Zainal. I think this is very interesting. Okay, because of all the five speakers, okay, we have different approaches. Okay, Prof. Azlan coming from anthropology, okay, his interest is to study, okay, to see on how orang asli is, what and then what are their culture and so on. Okay, whereas Dr. Yasir, okay, and the rest, okay, we are about uplifting the community. Okay, so now back to the topic of mainstreaming indigenous. Okay, so sometimes when we discuss about this, we discuss whether we always have this conundrum whether we want them, okay, to be in the living like us, modern society, or we want them to be in their own culture, okay, where they are, okay, and how they are. So this is sometimes we have this conversation, okay, all the time. Okay, this is something that maybe we want to think about, because like maybe after they go with robotics, okay, so will there be they're staying in Post Linggi anymore? Okay, betul lah. Okay, and then if let's say they come and live in Kuala Lumpur, okay, can they keep their culture while living in any of the condos? Okay, so these are the kind of thing that we have to think best. And also, I believe, okay, there's last time I was I think in Sarawak, I think because the one thing that also going to be lost is like, okay, when they have their more digital literacy, more phones, okay, they wouldn't listen to the folklore, okay, told by their grandparents, parents, bukan cerita, now they like to see on TikTok lah. Okay, and then we can see that those tales, okay, the folklore will lost. Okay, even now, when we teach them, they come to mainstream school, many of them, there are some indigenous that already forget their own language. They cannot speak in the, okay, I think we have a project, another project, right? Also in Australia, Asian, where we try to preserve the kind of language of many different tribes in Malaysia. Because when they come to school, they learn bahasa Malaysia, bahasa Inggeris. Okay, that's already big enough. Now they forget about their language. So this is another thing. So this is something that we need to discuss, and we need to find how mainstreaming is. What is our what our definition of mainstreaming?
Yes. Thank you, Prof. I think if we can get response from each of the panel on the question that posted by Prof. Amir, one, and also second, after listening to the other, to all the speakers, yeah, maybe each panel would have their ways of how to move on or how to work together. So we can ask each panel to respond to that two things briefly. so that we can take that as a take home. Maybe you want to start, Prof. Lan dulu?
Okay, thank you, Prof. Hamid, for the questions. I think what we want to see here is just like when the government did to the Malays after 1969, 13 May, and the government decided to build more boarding schools for the Malays, and the Malays cannot compete with other ethnic groups. So we have our own boarding schools, and we compete among ourselves. Within 20 years, then we built a Malay middle class. So we can be modern, second we can retain our values. I think that is the moral, the spirit that we should have. Similarly, in this case, the government should think of to build boarding schools for the Orang Asli. But boarding schools here does not mean that to secure all the high achievers. We can get all the Orang Asli, even with low grades, doesn't matter. But we give them a good environment. They compete among themselves, Jakun and Semai themselves. They don't have any inferiority complex. So one day after 20 years, they can be a middle class Orang Asli, but they can retain their values. So I think that would be the most thing that we have to see. That's why in the case of my friend's school, which I intend to do, so we need to recruit the Tok Batin or the experts of the Orang Asli to talk about their own heritage to their children. So, and then we can document those, and we can have, just mention a few of folklore, folk tales and everything. You can tell them, and then at the same time you can be in the mainstream, but you retain your good values of being Orang Asli. Okay, thank you.
Prof. Yasir?
Okay. Our approach to STEM, basically, the idea, the principle is always to not to change the Orang Asli, but to equip them with knowledge. Because the knowledge have progressed so much, the technology have progressed so much, and if you don't give them the knowledge, the necessary knowledge, digital technology knowledge, then they will be left behind further. By what we mean by left behind is when the technology come to them, at least with the knowledge they're equipped to face the coming of the technology, whatever is changing their life. So what we're seeing now, for example, the mobile phone, when they reach the Asli schools, the Asli communities, I believe there's a culture shock to the community, to the society, Orang Asli communities, and if there's no education on how to properly use all this technology, then they will have a big problem, because parents in say for example in Bandar, in our areas, are more well equipped with this knowledge of what is all these phones, what are all these social medias, but their parents are not equipped with this knowledge. So this is one aspect, but our approach is basically to teach them a higher, more high level knowledge, which is like to how to invent technology by teaching STEM, is making them a player in inventing technologies, so that they can then become probably engineers among the scientists in the country. So again, the principle is not to change them, but yeah, unfortunately, what we've seen once human, regardless what race you are, when you get to know technology, the society will change. So that's so unfortunate. But I'm seeing a good trend now. People probably are nostalgic when we see, for example, in social media, we see people making content on Malay tradition, on P. Ramlee, or whatever. They will get a lot of views. People tend to go back, tend to appreciate all these contents. So probably we have to have like modules or teaching Orang Asli to promote their cultures, promote their tradition through all this modern platform, new technology-based platform. At the same time, learning how to use them properly. So the approach is that I believe government have a good intention also when boarding schools for Orang Asli. I believe when we go to Orang Asli schools, a lot of them are boarding schools. They have student stays in asrama or hostel since Darjah 1, which is, I cannot believe it. I cannot send my 1 year Darjah 1 kid to asrama, but Orang Asli have to go do that because their house is so far away, the schools is so far away. So we have this, but probably resource was government can look on how to make this more efficient. But yeah, but schools like SMK Pangunjaya is a full boarding school for orang asli where they can come and stay to complete education.
Thank you so much, Dr. Yasir. Dr. Nabila.
Assalamualaikum. I think based on relating to the project and my presentation just now, I think every culture, every indigenous, they have their own specialty. Okay, it doesn't mean that we would want to change them. Okay, I would say that I also come from another indigenous community. I'm a Kadazan. Okay, so
That's explained.
yeah, so I feel that okay, as Dr. Norazan say, okay, I think education is something that is important. And this is the thing that we see that is lacking and where we want to reach out, okay, to certain communities, okay, because through education, okay, if they are able to, okay, to have that knowledge, okay, and they grow up, okay, they are able to relay and share their stories, okay, to everyone, to the whole wide world. And inshallah, okay, I think this is one way, okay, that what we are doing now, okay, especially as being volunteers, where, okay, to see the limited resources, okay, where we reach out to them. Because I think that schools, okay, they do need help because the schools that we are cooperating with, they only have one teacher. And it's not easy to teach a group of students, okay, just with just one teacher, because sometimes each individual, they need certain attention. And what we can do, okay, is to have these volunteers to help in rising up or to instill education, so that we hope that these students or these children, when they grow up, they have this knowledge, okay, to share their culture to others. That's it.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Nabila. I hope you will proceed for next Usrai Nation as well until forever, forever we'll still have next. Dr. Isham.
Yeah, I do agree with Prof. Azlan and also Dr. Yasir mentioned just now. Yeah, we need to introduce them, I mean, the Orang Asli students to development, to education, science and technology as well. But at the same time, I'm thinking of how do we preserve their folk tales, the custom and traditions, and then the language itself, their own original language, and then the herbs and medicine as well. So I'm thinking about on that line. How do we preserve all these things, even though we are trying to bring them into modernizations, right? But at the same time, we need to think of how do we preserve all these things. And at the same time, I'm thinking of how do the parents, the Orang Asli parents, teach and also pass the knowledge of these folk tales, customs, traditions, or their language. How do they pass all this element to their children? And that would be the teaching of. So we're looking at that particular area. How do we use that if we know the way that they are teaching their children, that perhaps that we can use that way or that particular pedagogy in schools. So I'm thinking on that line when we talk about this preservation of their culture and also the language and also the custom and tradition. Yeah. So even though we are introducing them to science and technology, to the development, but at the same time we are looking at how to preserve all these things. And yeah, so I think that will be my opinions on that.
Thank you. Paris, your last words.
In my opinion, so basically we will start with the roots, which is the school first, because that is where we all start. And the first one we are gonna do is we are trying to make them feel more relatable with us and don't have gap between them and us. So like what I said just now, that they are shy and they are sometimes feeling down if they are engaged with another races such as Malay, Chinese, and so on. So like we need to teach them how to embrace wisdom and their own unique culture to to make themselves as orang asli and make them believe in their own self. So I think that's it.
Thank you. Um, so with that, I think we would love to have more discussions. Yeah, but I think we've it's almost 5 already. Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot to take, and also we see that a lot has been done. But every one of us who are into Orang Asli have engaged with the agency, Jaguar, etc. So we know what's there outside there that requires longer discussions. But I believe UIA has been contributing a lot. If we can put all these dots together, I think we can do wonders. Like Dr. Yasir said, that I think UIA the only one that really intensively dengan 4 kelab orang asli, dengan Usra Nation, dengan Dr. Azlan penyanyi, dengan Nabila. There's so many things that we have done. If only we can put all it together, insyaAllah. With support and of course dengan daripada IPG yang memang khusus untuk Indigenous, ya. We have one last session which is to share the programs that we'll be having from now until October to mainstream further the activities of OA and Indigenous knowledge. So I'm not sure who's going to do this. Is someone going to do this or? Okay, Ali, silali.
Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So thank you very much, Professor Zainal and all the wonderful presenters. So as mentioned briefly by Prof. Zainal earlier, we will be having, well, actually we are having this series of program, which we call WISDOM, which stands for World's Indigenous Peoples Showcase, demonstrating multiculturalism. So it's, as mentioned before, it is also in conjunction with the International Day of the World's Indigenous Peoples, which was on the 9th of August. And on that day, we also had a very special program highlighting Indigenous cultures in their games and sports. So throughout this long, period of programs, we will be having multiple events. If we can scroll down and see, we have, of course, the pinnacle event on the 27th November at the very end of this WISDOM. And we also have many discussion sessions. Some of them have been conducted, some of them are to be conducted. We can see we will be having some impact on stage, some workshops as well. And our partner at IPG, Isham, we have the very special Indigenous events over there. There's multiple sessions, including food festivals, cultural competitions among the Sewang competition, for example, or musical competitions. We also have the Yasir's project with STEM, with the Indigenous people. And so basically this project is a mega, this whole program is like a mega compilation of all sorts of programs that aim to mainstream Indigenous culture and knowledge, and also most importantly to empower the Indigenous community. Because moving forward, it is very important not only to know about the Indigenous communities and for the Indigenous peoples to also appreciate their own culture, but to also integrate it into everyday life. So one of the things that we're trying to do is in the sense of sports, we are trying to mainstream, for example, this Sumpit sport and also hopefully other Indigenous sports as well. And if I may add, as per the discussion just now, our concern is the diminishing of Indigenous culture. And this is where efforts such as this plays a very big role. Because as mentioned, with the technologies that we have nowadays, it is rather unavoidable that some form of the Indigenous culture will be altered. But at the same time, any culture, as we know today, whether the Malay culture or the Indigenous cultures, they have been altered as the time goes by. So with this technology, or anything that comes, what we want to make sure is that the culture is preserved, but there will be some adaptations, and we will try to adapt both the community and ourselves into each other. And I think this is very important moving on to the future so that we don't leave any parts of the society behind, and most importantly, to empower the marginalized communities into embracing the future. So thank you very much. I hope we all could take part in any of these events. We will be having more updated on this program, which can be found on the website, which is at rce2g.ium.edu.my/wisdom24. That's rce2g.ium.edu.my/wisdom24. So thank you very much, Prof. Sanil. Back to you.
Okay. Thank you very much, Ali. Thank you very much, everyone on the online for staying with us. What we hope as a conclusion is that this is part of our responsibility, not just to the mainstream people, but also the marginal group, and bring them to the mainstream discussions and get as much as possible their knowledge, which we believe is very sustainable knowledge and also sejahtera kind of thing. Yeah. So inshallah, would like to thank you personally to Prof. Akmal, Prof. Amir, Prof. Akmal dah balik, Prof. Amir for staying back. Yeah, Dr. Lan, Dr. Yasir, Faris, and Nabila and Isham as a very insightful and interesting wisdoms and experience that you all have shared with us. So let's end with tasbih kafarah dan surah wal-as. Subhanallah wa bihamdihi. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh. Thank you, Dr. Lan.
Assalamualaikum.